The Age of the Samurai began in Japan in 1185 and ended in 1868, including tons of battles, duels, carnage, and peace, also bringing with it its fair share of legendary warriors like Hattori Hanzo, Takeda Shingen, and Date Masamune, but none of them being more infamous than that of Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto was born towards the latter part of the samurai era in June of 1584. He grew up in the mountains with his father, who was a successful samurai in his own right. But when Musashi was only a boy, his father would die. After his father's death, Musashi made it his goal to become the strongest samurai in the world, to become invincible under the sun, as he put it. With the mountains as his master, Musashi trained his way up the ladder, working to get stronger and stronger. By the age of 13, he had fought and won his first duel against a wandering ronin, continuing to duel the strongest opponents he could find. The most famous adaptations of Miyamoto's life are as follows. The critically acclaimed manga Vagabond, written and drawn by Takehiko Inoue. Vagabond is based on the critically acclaimed book aptly titled Musashi, written by Eiji Yoshikawa. These titles are quite well known in the modern day. However, after his days of being a samurai were over, Musashi actually wrote his own work, a strategy guide akin to Sun Tzu's Art of War, named The Book of Five Rings. In said book, Musashi speaks of his legendary rival. As the most famous tale of Miyamoto's life follows, when he was in his 20s, he met a fellow samurai named Sasaki Kojiro, who was one of the strongest men in Japan at the time. They both shared the same goals, to become the strongest. The two eventually became rivals, but both men simultaneously saw eye to eye and became good friends. However, with the goal of becoming invincible under the sun, Miyamoto knew the inevitable was coming. He had to fight a duel to the death with his friend and rival Kojiro. As the story goes, Musashi meets Kojiro on the island of Ganryu-jima, where Miyamoto, with his Ichiryu sword style against Kojiro's Ganryu style, battled. Musashi bested Kojiro, and despite his offer of mercy, Sasaki declined out of the respect for his opponent, and for the way of the sword. This duel was the 61st and final of Miyamoto's life, afterwards reaching enlightenment through Buddhism and becoming an author and poet after putting down the sword. Musashi's story is that of a man who lived following the way of the sword his entire life. He was self-taught and ended up rising to the top of the samurai world, becoming one of the most unstoppable swordsmen on the planet. And just when he had accomplished it all, Musashi decided to seek religion in order to get away from the fighting.